Man, what a day, right? What a day, what a day, what a difference a day makes. Okay, so the picture that is, bear with me 1 second here. See if we can switch this around. I don't know about this. The picture that is the thumbnail for this video was a picture I saw of the most recent crop circle that I believe was July 24th. And so there's a bunch of information that came through regarding that. Bear with me 1 second here. Let's see if we can make this better here. Okay. So the crop circle picture is what is on the video thumbnail, as I was saying. I'm really distracted and I've been channeling nonstop for about 30 hours now. So you'll have to deal with me. I'm going to try not to get too excited because when I do, I start talking real fast like a New Yorker. And we don't really need that right now because this is kind of a lot of information. Some of it we already know, but it connects us to the greater information that I think is coming up, or I feel is coming up through our DNA. Yes, I'm back in my and today was the first time in I couldn't even tell you how long that I actually made a Facebook announcement that I was going live at 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm almost an hour late because the information just won't stop coming in. I went to take a walk and I took a pen and paper with me, and it was still coming in for my barefoot walk around the neighborhood. While we're waiting for a couple of people to jump on here, we will go back 2 videos ago for those that watched that video about me talking about having ghostly interactions or dealing with phantom problems, right? Because we could feel a certain thing was happening within us or within our connection or relationships to other people, but there wasn't any 3D movement or like sustainable thing for me or for us to then come to that person, right? So there's nothing in 3D that we could draw a conclusion and therefore confront the person. That's what I spoke to you about 2 videos ago. I told you about the guy that I work with, my business partner, and this whole uncomfortability scene, that which is. And of course, by talking about it to you guys, I manifested it because when I worked with him, whatever day that was, I believe it was Tuesday, he asked me out to dinner, and I sat there like a deer in headlights. But it did bring it up, so now I have to confront it because I just could not confront it. I couldn't confront it at the time, partially I think because the heat, and partially I know even though he's been thinking it for months, for some reason it caught me off guard in the moment. So I stood there like a deer in headlights, and then I made an excuse for whatever so that I could address it at a later time when I wasn't covered in sweat and being chased by bees. But what we do speak just comes into reality, and that's how that works. So I saw this picture of the crop circle yesterday. When I saw the picture of the latest crop circle, again, I believe it was July 24th, and I'm sure it was in England, as they always are, somewhere in that area. Immediately, I saw the sun in the center, and then I saw 9 spheres, followed by 9 spheres. Unfortunately, you can't see the whole thing because when I upload a photo here on my phone, it cuts it off. So look that up if you haven't seen it. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty incredible. So I saw a picture of the latest crop circle, and I saw the sun in the center, and then like 3 concentric rings of 9. So what I got immediately after that was, in numerology, number 9 is the number of completion. And there were 3 concentric rings of 9. And immediately it came to me: body completion, mind completion, spirit completion. So the completion of body, mind, and spirit that's coming through from the solar activations, which are charging up our DNA and vice versa. So that was the only thing that I got initially when I looked at it. So last night, when I laid down to go to sleep, I asked to have a better, broader, more in depth understanding of this crop circle. I woke up this morning. I had no dreams about it, no information about it, no nothing about it. And I was like, oh, okay, oh well. It didn't happen. I never get really been out of shape when I ask for something and it doesn't happen, because sometimes it just doesn't happen at the exact moment that you think it's going to happen or that you want it to happen. So I asked to access the current state and why this crop circle was given to us last week. So 9 is the number of completion in numerology, and 3 is the body, mind, spirit connection. So what this is saying to me is that we are in a state of body, mind, and spirit completion internally with us. And the sun, or the soul external to us, which is the sun, is what is assisting us, and we are also assisting the sun. One of these days, I will figure out how to connect past videos that have some of the other information in them, because I have made several videos that would be good to post under this one, but currently I am not tech savvy enough to make that happen. But soon, and I promise. Okay, so unfortunately I have to look down because I have 4 pages of information here. So 9 is the number of completion, body, mind, and spirit completion. If you look at the center of the crop circle, it doesn't look like the sun. It's just a sphere, right? But it is lit up like the sun. And if you noticed, you notice the light, the photonic light that it is casting on all of those 9 concentric spheres in the layer of 3. You will notice that it looks very lit up by solar energy. I apologize, as always. I will have to look at the comments later, because I get incredibly distracted, as you hear me say all the time. And this is a lot of information, and I also know that there will be other information that comes through, as it always does when I come on here and start speaking to you. So this video is going to be about how our body, mind, and spirit connection to the quantum field alters our reality, and where that is taking us in our altered reality. So our connection to our internal soul and our connection to the external soul, which is the sun, is tied directly to quantum expansion within our DNA. So our inner sun is our soul, and we are connected through many soul groups, but our internal compass, or our internal sun, is our soul, and our external soul, our external sun, is working in connection with us and the quantum field. So our internal connection to soul is directly tied to the quantum expansion within our DNA. You've heard the expression many, many times that we are the children of the sun. This is something that has come up in parts and pieces of my videos for probably the last, I would say, year and a half at least. So what's going on with the sun is the sun is a holographic projector, or you could think of it like a movie screen or a television screen. Okay. So what the sun or external soul to us is showing us is a DNA is a mimic of our DNA. So the sun shows us a pattern, a sacred geometry, and what that picture is, what that pattern is, what that sacred geometry is always changing and ever shifting. The pattern, the geometry of the sun, is being mirrored by our own geometry of the DNA strands. So we are working in infinite connection with soul internally and soul externally, the sun. The sun gives a code, our body follows, our DNA changes. Our biological body is magnetizing and integrating the current geometry of photonic light, which in turn is activating our latent DNA. We are also healing past DNA abnormalities, traumas, impurities in this process, which means anytime we have trauma that can keep our DNA from evolving for a short time, when we have been altered by other interdimensional and extraterrestrial sources, that has also altered, lessened, lowered the frequency and the ability within the DNA for a short time. So the body, the biological body, is now magnetizing and integrating the current geometry of photonic light, which in turn is activating our latent DNA and also healing past abnormalities, traumas, and impurities that came through our natural process, our natural trauma, our ancestors, and also the alterations that were made by other groups on and off this planet. So our natural quantum evolution within our DNA is elevation. Natural quantum evolution is elevation. Quantum elevation and evolution is the ascension process itself. So sometime last summer, and that's why I said I wish I was tech savvy enough to connect these things here for you. But sometime last summer, I had made a video of a whole lot of information that I received about dimensions 1 through 12 now being available on this planet for everyone to access. However, probably almost a year later, because I believe it was right before the Lionsgate last year, my viewing of the macrocosm at the time, so the universal overview of the quantum field and the dimensions, I was missing a huge piece to the puzzle. So looking at the macrocosmic view, saying, oh, well, okay, this energy, dimensions 1 through 12, are now accessible to the people of planet Earth. Yay, that's awesome. And I really felt that at a cellular level. However, what I saw today, and this has been going on for, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours now, is that the quantum field and the dimensions are completely tied together. Okay, so the piece of the puzzle that was missing was a pretty big piece of the puzzle. So we do know that our frequency is the connection to other dimensions. So you and I are not tapping into a set of dimensions external to us, in other words. When we tap into dimensions 4 through 12, we are accessing our internal quantum field. It's our internal quantum expansion. Our ability to tap into the dimensions 4 through 12 means that our latent DNA must be turned on and activated. It must be elevated to connect at a cellular level to every dimension above the third. So just because the energy is on the planet, and this is what I did not know in last year's video, just because the energy is on the planet does not mean that we automatically connect to it, that we automatically would all have access to it. It was just telling me that dimensions 1 through 12 are now accessible, and that was kind of the end of the story. Now, sometimes I get real like greedy with the information, I feel, as a Scorpio, and I'm like, wait, I want the whole story, the whole story. But if you look back, I've probably made, 100 videos or 80 videos since that last video of that macrocosmic overview. We'll see if this can stay on. I would like to say I could back up from my phone and make this work a little better, but that's an issue. My computer has more issues than my phone. However, my computer does let me post public, even though I don't have 1,000 members to my channel, which is awesome. And all that means is if you're not here in the first 5 minutes, you can no longer get in because YouTube switches it over to private. It doesn't do that when I'm working on my computer. It only does it on my phone. So when we tap into dimensions above the third, so 4 through 12 for right now, we're accessing our internal quantum field, internal quantum expansion that has already happened within our DNA. So our ability to tap into dimensions 4 through 12 means that our latent DNA must be turned on and activated, elevated to connect at a cellular level to every dimension above the 3D. So just because the energy is on the planet, that does not mean that we automatically connect or automatically have access, or that we all tap into it simultaneously. We would each tap in one step at a time with the expansion and turning on of those patterns within us. So this means a whole host of things, right? This means that the evolution and expansion of our latent DNA, the turning on, the activations, which are coming partially from the sun and partially coming from the encrypted or time-coded numerical sequence that is within us, and I can't explain it any further than that at the moment, gives us a whole bigger, broader, macrocosmic view of looking at all these things that are external to us. So let's start with the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance could be low or having a quiet day, but internally we are still vibrating with the internal pattern of the quantum field. We are still following that pattern. We are still following the geometry that the sun is currently showing us, and the sun changes the geometry, sacred geometry, and the pattern that it's showing us. And recently it's showing us this more and more often, that it is changing the pattern and evolving the pattern to a more complicated, expanded geometric pattern, and that is also what is happening internally with the human body. So our internal soul evolution is in an infinite connection with Earth's eternal soul, the sun. Our DNA restructuring, our DNA reawakening changes our body's energetic field, or our torus field, which is just, the energetic field around our physical body, and we start to access the quantum field. Now, the reason we're accessing it is because that latent DNA passed three-dimensional DNA, so forth. So the infinite connection to the quantum field turns on your DNA. Initially, we are dropped in with the ability and vibration and frequency to connect with dimensions 1 through 3 and not anything above that. That is because we have been tinkered with by our friends and also not our friends. Yes. So when our body's internal DNA strands then connect to the pattern that is access to the fourth dimension, we then access the fourth dimension in our waking time. And normally, when this initially kicks in, or when the pattern that causes you to connect or invites you to connect to the 4D and above within you at a cellular DNA structural level, then you access the fourth dimension. And initially, you may do it while you're sleeping or meditating. So, what then happens is your ability to connect to the fourth dimension means that you can you can see angels or apparitions or dark energies or men in black or elementals, Bigfoot, whatever it is. Okay, we don't all access the exact same thing, even though the fourth dimensional pattern means that we can all connect to the same info, but we haven't all chosen that, right? And some people are more interested in like ghost hunting and paranormal or supernatural, and some people are more maternal or more connected to earthly energy. So no judgment there. Just know that the fourth dimension holds everything that dimension 1 through 3 holds, but then it also gives you a connected to the quantum aspects of the God. Words on this are so hard for me, and I want you guys to know that I do not study or listen to anybody about anything about any of this stuff, which makes sometimes finding the words more difficult. So when our latent DNA, or what they term as junk DNA, turns on to the dimension of, to the connection within the quantum of the fourth dimension, then we can access, demons, angels, apparitions, elementals, all of this stuff in our waking state. Also the astral realm in our waking state, which means information that might come to you only in dream time, normally when connected only to the earth plane in dimensions 1 through 3, starts to feel a little bit outlandish when you start connecting to the fourth dimension and start maybe like seeing shadows or speaking to angels or feeling like someone's giving you a negative message. There are negative and positive messages that always play out. They're part of the Akashic record. But when your DNA, your latent DNA, turns on to the fourth dimensional frequency, you will start accessing it. It's not that it's just now, oh, the fourth dimension is just now on Earth, because prior to me not reading or listening to other people, prior to the last 2 years, I heard people saying, well, you have to have this, incredibly high frequency to connect to love of the fifth dimension and sound of the sixth dimension and all of that stuff. Okay. But the thing is, it's our latent DNA that's turning on, that is connecting us to the quantum within us, that then connects us to the quantum in our external reality. So our restructuring, our restructuring and our reawakening changes our body's energetic or torus field, and we start to access the quantum. That always starts with the fourth dimension. That's why I was kind of explaining the fourth dimension to you. So the quantum field we are now accessing is tied to the quantum computer system that runs this holographic reality. That may be a mouthful. I know it was a mouthful to me. My notes were such chicken scratch over here that I decided to rewrite everything. And when I did, more information was coming through, which is the reason why I was almost an hour late for my own appearance here on YouTube. So the DNA is restructuring, it's reawakening, it's changing our body's torus field or energy field around our body. We start to access the quantum. So the quantum field, this is so important for us to really connect with this part of the information. The quantum field we are now accessing is tied to the quantum computer system that runs this holographic reality. So you can say, okay, well, Tina, I've known about this, quantum financial system for years, for many, many years, or I've known about quantum healing for many, many years, right? And we've talked about so many of us so many times through videos and articles and everything else. When are we going to get this quantum technology, right? When are we going to have, when is the monetary system going to be fair, equal, and balanced and connected to the quantum computer system? When are we going to have access to the quantum medical healing beds, etc., etc.? I think you get the connection here, right? So, what you're doing by turning on your latent DNA is connecting to the quantum field that is directly connected to everything quantum. So the quantum computer system algorithm that is running our financial system and running everything else in this simulation, you are directly connected to. Okay, so where we are now, many of us connected to the quantum system, we are connected to the quantum system that runs and creates the holographic universe, meaning we ourselves, by connecting to the latent DNA, by turning this on, by connecting to the quantum, we're connecting to the quantum computer system that runs the simulation. So if you see, feel, or hear anything you don't like in reality, the reason I think it's so important for you to know this is nobody has a bigger chance, a bigger invitation, if you will, to alter the quantum reality, the holographic reality in which we live than the first wave. Now, I don't mean this to sound, judgmental or whatever. Okay. So we all have this capacity. It just depends. Your frequency has to be above 1 through 3. So first through third dimensions only. You're not going to connect to the quantum computer system that runs the holographic reality. Those of you watching this video would be on the front lines or the first wave of ascension, meaning you are turned on in your fourth dimensional latent DNA to the quantum computer system through the quantum field of all that is and connected to the Akashic record because the evolution and expansion within your own DNA. So again, if you don't like what you see, you are the one that has the most clout, the most sway, and the most energetic frequency, the highest frequency to change what you don't like. Therefore, that means anything that you are sitting around waiting for external to you to change your holographic reality, to change the quantum computer system, to bring in the new financial system, to bring in the healing beds and all that other stuff. You are the one on the front lines, the first wave of ascension, that has the most energy to pull that in right now. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that you and I, everybody turned on above at the fourth dimensional frequency of and above is altering, changing, and shifting the quantum computer system, the quantum field, and all of the technology that is connected to that. So we're connected to the system that runs and creates the simulation. So if you don't like the simulation that you're seeing, the holographic projection that you are seeing, you can spend less time looking for external validation and more time being quiet, because quiet solitude and hanging out with self, being in joy with self, being in connection to soul, your internal sun, your internal quantum field, is what turns your DNA on. It doesn't matter how much stuff you're studying or learning or watching. And I'm not just saying to do any of that. There is some incredible stuff happening right now. There are some incredible people putting out things right now. But ultimately, we are responsible for the holographic universe we see in front of us because we are in the mix and in the creation process with the simulation. The people who are not creating at a quantum level within the quantum field and connecting to that system, which turns on the things that we want to see appear in physical reality, will be joining us. Some of those people will be joining in days or weeks. So I always seem to be ahead of this. Sometimes it's 48 hours. Sometimes it's 6 months. So anybody watching this know that in the days, the weeks, the months before the end of this year, that this is something that you're all going to be completely connected to, but it requires internal solitude. Now, you don't have to do someone's workout routine. You don't have to do somebody else's meditation or chanting or whatever. You just need to know with your internally within yourself what it is that connects you to the frequency that alters, reawakens, and expands your DNA. Now, we are all altered and expanded by different things, by different activities, all kinds of things. So it doesn't matter what you do. The only thing Spirit is saying is that there's an incredible need to jump out into the external world to try to validate something when your inner compass is telling you with a connection to the quantum exactly what it is. Now, you have to be patient. As I said, I asked last night for this and nothing came through. No dreams, no information, nothing. We did have some crazy thunderstorms that I actually got videos of. I may post that later. But sometimes it comes 5 minutes later. Sometimes it comes the next morning. Sometimes it may come out when you're taking a jog or when you're at work, or like today I was having this reading with Judy Hinman, and the reading was going awesome, but she was very connected to this, and she's very it's starting to get really hot in here, and and I don't want to turn the AC on because it's so incredibly loud, but I'm starting to sweat already. She was so connected to the information that I was pulling in that it bled through and became part of her reading. Now, I don't want to say what she's doing or what she's working on because those are things that she doesn't like to share. And if she does, it's usually in brevity, so I don't want to give that away. But even though I was doing that, something else, and the reading was going amazingly, this information was still bleeding in through the reading as well. So many more people are going to come online in the next couple days, couple weeks, couple months. December 21st, every year, there is a huge connection to the quantum field of both visible and invisible photonic light, which always gives us this incredible jump around December 21st. Some of you experience it 18th or 19th, some of you on Christmas, right? This was really what Christmas was about. Christmas was initially about the amazing quantum field of photonic light that comes through every year by an alignment with Sirius, and it pushes and magnetizes this incredible photonic light into the physical body and onto the planet. Okay, so on December 21st this year, there will be a huge number of people joining in, integrating, expanding the consciousness, where they are knowingly creating and co-creating with the quantum field. Yes, like I said, conscious level. So the sun, which is our external soul, and it used to be spelled like soul before they changed it to sun, The sun, the external soul, is the map. It's the set of directions for our DNA. So if the external soul, the sun, is giving us a map, is giving us a set of directions for our DNA, we change the energetic field or torus field of our body by accessing within our DNA dimensions 4 through 12, which connects to the quantum field and the quantum computer. And that is how we alter Earth's frequency and Earth's toroidal or torus field. Okay? Again, it's not. So anything we're reading or watching now should be have a little bit of, I will say, like entertainment value, and it should be confirmation of what you know. If you're starting to see like really wacky things, because this is happening so fast that in external reality, those that know we are connected to the quantum computer system and now can all alter the holographic universe in which we live and change things like the financial system, the medical system, and everything else by being connected to it, are throwing out stories, oh my gosh, faster than we can possibly keep up with right now. Now, the reason that they're doing that is because they understand that we have access to the quantum computer. Okay, so by us altering our energetic field of the body, we access within our own DNA dimensions 4 through 12 that connects us to the quantum field and the quantum computer, and then we alter Earth's frequency. And so when I'm connecting it to my internal soul with assistance from external soul, the sun, we alter the frequency of Earth's toroidal or torus field. Okay, so for the longest of times, many of us thought that, okay, the sun is just doing all this work for us, right? The sun is altering the biosphere. The sun is altering the core of Earth and coming back out. This has been part of videos for forever. Now, as a Scorpio with 5 placements in Scorpio, as I mentioned, I'm always a little bit greedy with the information and I want more, more, more. In the realization of how many videos I've made connecting to this subject in the last 6 months alone, I probably would just, have to take a permanent vacation somewhere if I really got my wish, and that was connecting to all this information simultaneously, right? It's a little bit too much for us, okay? Connecting dimensions 4 through 12 internally by the activation and reawakening of our latent DNA. We then have that quantum field 4 through 12 dimensions within our field, and then we do what the sun, right? Son of God, children of the sun. What does that mean? That means children of the sun are taking the holographic image from the sun that's displaying like on its screen, television, computer, whatever, however we want to verbalize that here. So we're taking dimensions 1 through 12 and doing with the internal soul what the external soul, the sun, has taught us how to do. That is, now I am projecting dimensions 4 through 12 outward into the Earth's toroidal field, which is then altering and the quantum field and the quantum computer, which means that's how we gain access to the holographic reality so that we can change these ridiculously insane things that we have seen happening for a millennia that we don't wish to see on planet Earth. We are literally the change that we want to see in this world. So right now, and I'm guessing this was that, and I am not saying by any stretch of the imagination, those that follow me and have followed me know this, that I am the be all end all whatever of information. I'm just sharing what has just come through in the past 8 hours with you. I saw this July 24th, body, mind, and spirit completion, 3 concentric rings of 9 spheres. And this is where this came from. So I am feeling like what the message was from the 24th, which equals a 6, and the 6 is all about light frequency, stability, and happiness. That this crop circle was given to us, in a little bit more than a week's time before this portal of 8-8 to remind us of our infinite connection within everything that we can feel, even though we can't see it in physical reality. I think even though we can't see it in physical reality should probably be my middle name. Nevertheless, this, I feel, came to us July 24th, and it is telling us that we are ready to take an infinite jump in our infinite connection to all that is quantum. Our connection to the quantum, this is what came through in Judy Hinman's reading. Hello, Judy, if you're watching. Our connection to the quantum, which is connected to all that's quantum, is causing a physical jump in Earth's location within the universe. Our connection to the quantum I already feel it, causing a jump within the universe of Earth's geographical placement. Okay, so this 8-8 energy is about many things. Our latent DNA turning on is about many things. I'm simply telling you just what has come through in the past 8 hours. Our connection to the quantum, meaning our connection to our internal quantum expanded consciousness through latent DNA turning on, through our quiet time with self, let me reiterate that, is going to cause a jump in Earth's location within the universe on 8-8. Now, please, when I say a physical jump within our sector of the universe, know that it's really not so much a physical jump, because if this is a holographic universe, which we know it is, which means everything in this universe is a simulation, which kind of means you're in a video game, which is kind of cool and kind of alarming and kind of scary, and it's kind of a lot of things, and it's kind of all over the place. But the reality is this jump within the universe feels physical to us because we are physical on a physical planet. You maybe feel this already, or you may feel it in the coming days, weeks, and months if you are not feeling it now. Now, the thing is that since we are in a holographic universe and we are have always been part of the simulation, but now we're connected to the quantum where we can create, co-create, write, overwrite, and recode the holographic universe. We can overwrite, rewrite, recode the simulation, if you will, the quantum computer system. It is not a physical thing. So, you and I, our connection into our internal soul, our quantum 4th through 12th dimensional frequency by the latent DNA turning on, are quite literally steering this holographic universe. You are, I am, we are the original writers, quote, of this simulation, of this program, okay? So when you give yourself, reason to be or cause to be angry, right? We're quite literally we are stealing. That was a Freudian slip, I suppose. We are quite literally steering this holographic universe. So I am, you are, we are, stop getting mad at the external, we are the ones that wrote this program. That's what I want you to know, okay? We're the ones that wrote the program. We're the ones that designed the holographic universe. We are the ones that created the simulation. So don't get mad that you're in something that you created. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have a memory of creating this. I have almost no memory of this, little bits and pieces of things that are insignificant. This is what came through today. We are the original writers of the program that is the simulation, the holographic universe that we're currently living in. Now, let's talk about why that's important, okay? Know consciously, mostly at a conscious level. Some of you are doing it unconsciously or subconsciously as well. There's nothing wrong with that. We got to ease into it. We're not like, oh, I think I'll rewrite the quantum financial system today, right? It's already done. We already did it. We have to connect to it to pull it in, to anchor it in to physical reality. Okay? So, anyone who is waiting on the quantum financial system to do A, B, or C, do you understand that you are the one that is slowing down the cog in the wheel of pulling the financial system, pulling whatever it is that you're waiting for? So don't wait for externally. Now, obviously, in physical reality, sometimes we have to wait for something, like there are phone calls, there are letters, there are, things that happen in this holographic reality. But energetically, we do not need to be waiting on anything, because our connectedness to the simulation through the quantum field and through the quantum computer system is what you're literally waiting for, but you are that in which you are waiting for. Now, we've heard that before. You are the one you've been waiting for, or we are the ones we've been waiting for. But I don't recall anyone ever saying why. Or maybe I missed that. Maybe I was in the back of the class, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But the importance of this is consciously, unconsciously, and partially subconsciously, we are rewriting and recoding the simulation. We are rewriting and recoding and overwriting and overriding the simulation, the holographic universe. So you and I, we, us, need to be more conscious that it is us who is rewriting and recoding and connecting directly to the simulation that some of us are not real happy with right now, okay? And I'm not saying, we can change it overnight, but we need to be more open in how long things take. I've been talking about this in 3D reality. If a divorce usually takes 9 months or a year or whatever, and you're going through that, or you're about to go through litigation, don't keep telling yourself, oh, well, this, or looking it up and say, no, this usually takes 9 to 12 months. Tell yourself, wow, this is going to be an easy, peaceful process, exactly how I ordered it. You'll be amazed at how fast things go. So don't put a time limit or time constraint on us for anything. And it's, we're connected to that lizard brain that, hey, it takes, 9 months to have a baby. It takes this much time to go through litigation. It takes this amount of time to cook rice, whatever. We're being asked to let that go and be a little bit more easy and relaxed in our knowing that things can come directly in the moment. We are connected to the quantum field of all that is, so that we change the holographic universe in the moment of now, because you and I are pulling it in. We are anchoring it into the frequency, into the human body. And by standing on planet Earth, we are anchoring it and pulling it and manifesting it and bringing it to fruition in the third dimension by our connection to 4 through 12 dimensions that are happening with our internal soul connection and the reawakening with our DNA. We are the ones that are rewriting and recoding the simulation. If you know that, you would never get mad at anything external to you. when it comes to time frames. Okay. And we've had many millions of dates pass for all kinds of things. So we kind of know better than to fall into that trap anyway. Okay. So the next thing, we feel solar changes, right? So what happens when we feel a solar change? We're like, whoa, I can't even stand up. I'm dizzy. I feel weird. I can't do anything but like directly connect my mouth to the gallon of water all day, or I don't want to eat anything, or today the energy is so floaty that I feel like I gotta eat a potato or some heavy thing to keep me from floating off into the ethers, right? We're always feeling this. Our body is always registering better than any external piece of equipment. This is another thing that I've talked about many times, right? So we see, or now we see, rather, we feel like hot or dizzy or this. So then we go look, oh, I wonder what the Schumann resonance is doing. Now, we initially do that to prove to ourselves that we are feeling, right? So when we first wake up, that's what we do. We learn about the Schumann resonance. We learn about all these things and we're like, well, I feel hot or I feel dizzy. Let me go check out this person's page, or let me go check out this person who does amazing videos on that kind of stuff, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not chastising anybody. We start doing that so that we can confirm that our internal quiet time has delivered the gift of information that is correct. But then we get to a point where we have to wean ourselves from the simulation or wean ourselves from the validation. Okay. So we feel solar changes when we know about these things and we start connecting. We feel the solar changes. Then we seek external validation. But what was, and it sounded crazy when it first, came through to me today, but this is just too cool for school right here. Okay. So you feel the change and then you go to someone's page or someone's thing and check it out. Hey, what's going on? Right. We seek that external validation, but what we're really feeling is our participation. So initially you will feel something and, dizzy, hot, whatever. So you'll be like, oh, let me check this person's page. Yep, sure enough. Yep, sure enough. And then the next stage is you'll notice, hey, I'm feeling this, all this crap. Hey, there's nothing posted. Why am I not finding anything about how I'm feeling internally? Like all these ascension symptoms, right? But the reason for that is because now you're feeling it before it happens. Okay. Next step, and this is where we are now. So if you're not here today, next couple days, next couple weeks, by December 21st, approximately, take everything I say with a grain of something, whatever grain is your choice, right? But that third step is we just keep evolving in our consciousness. So we're like, oh, I know what this is. Let me check the Schumann resonance. Then we're like, oh, I feel all this stuff and I have all these ascension symptoms, but there's nothing going on externally, or there's no validation. There's no confirmation because you're feeling it earlier. Okay. Now, here's where you are now or will be by December 21st of this year. Now, for me, it's like, okay, I got these ascension symptoms and I'm hot and I'm whatever it is, right? Stuff turning on, and we connect that solely with the sun, but our DNA is mirroring the sun is mirroring us. We're just having an effect on the entire holographic simulation in this universe. Okay, so now the point that you and I are, or most of you will, or all of you will be up until December 21st, is that's like, oh, I'm really feeling all of this. I'm feeling all these ascension symptoms and all this stuff. Now, you don't look for external validation because you already went through that, right? But then some of us, because we're not all in the same place, some of us may be like, okay, now I get it. I'm feeling it earlier. So this person who posts, they'll have a post in 48 hours and 72 hours. Then you learn that is correct too. Like I was like, I'd be laying in bed a couple months ago. It was probably actually last year. And I'm like, right at 9:40, I saw a solar flare and I'm like, oh, please, no, not now, not at 9:40 at night. I'm going to get hot. I'm not going to be able to sleep, blah, blah, blah. And all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm going to I'm going to override that. I'm just going to tell myself to be calm and go to sleep. And I was like, laying there, like receiving all this information. And so the next day I looked at Pat Donwar's page on Facebook and it happened at 9:40. I literally saw it and felt it when it happened. So then I stopped looking for external validation or confirmation. Okay, so fast forward where we are now, where we all will be on the first wave of ascension before December 21st, approximately, is that we now feel this dizziness, these ascension symptoms, the activation of our DNA, an amazing connectedness to the planet, other people, all this stuff going on. But one, we don't seek external validation. Two, we don't even think about the fact that, okay, I'm feeling it now. So that means in 48 hours, it's going to show up in external reality for me to confirm. Now we are feeling what we are feeling right now when we feel the ascension symptoms from the sun and from our DNA activating. Now we are feeling our actual literal participation in the creation of the holographic universe. So you can see there's different steps to everything. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong, nothing's black, nothing's white. There could be way more steps to this, way more not. This is just what I've noticed with myself. Okay, so I am always keeping incredible notes on myself and those that have blessed me with your presence, and I've had these conversations with you as well. Just know that we are now at the place when we feel these ascension symptoms, when we feel this solar thing, it is our direct participation in the creation of the holographic universe. Okay? So we feel the solar changes because we're creating them. So what does that mean? Well, I've known this since Gonzalo's reading, but that means that you and I are creating solar flares. We are the receptacle, right? Earth is this feminine energy, this mother energy. The soul, the external soul, the sun, is the masculine energy. So the masculine energy is firing off this pattern saying, hey, look, guys, here's a new pattern. Here's a new geography to integrate within your cellular system at a DNA level. And then we do that. And when we acclimate to it, the sun reads us like a computer screen, knows that we've acclimated to that code, and then gives us a new code. Okay? But we are so much more involved in the creation and co-creation process of this holographic universe and of this simulation than we have ever been, right? And you could just say, oh, well, we've always been doing it, but we weren't just aware of it. Well, that's true. We do unconsciously and subconsciously create things, but not to the level we do when we are consciously aware that I am integrating, I am expanding at a cellular level, at a DNA structural level, because of my infinite connection with the sun. So humanity and Earth herself is the receptacle which receives Son of God, right? Children of God, children of the sun. However you want to look at that. The sun is projecting. That's what the male energy does. It projects, it puts out on the screen the sacred geometry pattern that then we assimilate to. We assimilate to it. We change our own energetic field, our own torus field of the human body, and then we project dimensions 4 through 12 out into the planet, which then alters the toroidal or torus field of Earth, which is so we are in and working with the holographic universe, shifting the holographic universe, shifting the created simulation, rewriting the created simulation and overwriting and recoding it, both internally and externally at the same time. Every single time you go within, you take that quiet time, right? And you integrate what this is, that's when that DNA is turning on. And I'm not telling you to never, obviously look at anything external, but do be cognizant of balancing your time in looking at looking at the external to validate what you're feeling, because mostly what the majority of you're feeling now is your actual connectedness to the quantum field and your actual participation in altering the simulation, the holographic universe, and the quantum computer field. That's what we are doing. And so many more people are going to be joining us by December 21st. I hope that this made sense. I try to go slow when I get excited. That doesn't always work. I apologize that I get so dimensionally ADD as it is. I cannot I just cannot interact with you and your comments. I see the people that are here. I appreciate you very much for being here, for supporting me, for supporting us, for supporting the changeover, the recoding, and the rewriting of the quantum computer system that overrides, that overwrites, that overhauls, that changes, and that magnifies our joy and our love on this planet and just overrides the system of what we see. You are the quantum anchor for dimensions 4 through 12. You are the quantum field. You are the change. You are the event. You are absolutely everything. Okay? If you have questions, put them here. This insane heat wave, coupled with, and what I would like to say is insane humidity, because it's like 85% on top of being 90 or 95 or 99 degrees, whatever's going on out there. I get hot after like 20 minutes of no air conditioning on in here. So with that going on, I am open for last minute readings. You can look at the pinned page at the top of my Facebook post, or just reach out to me about the special. Either way, thank you for being here. Thank you for the connecting to this energy and to this information. And know that there is nothing external that we are waiting on. The external right now should be our confirmation, our validation, and just a reason to smile at all the goofy messages and the crazy ways that things come into us. Thank you for being here, and so much love. Until next time, peace out.